Sterling, it's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks for doing this today. I appreciate it. Are you ready to jump right in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks very much. I know you've got a lot going on right now. One of the things you've got coming up is the Hatfields and McCoys. Now, do I have this straight? You're both appearing in this and providing the soundtrack for it?
Well, we're doing the music, not the soundtrack. We're doing the music for the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing all the music for the documentary. But some of our music is being used by the composer in the body of the Hatfield and McCoy. So we're really happy about that. So the truth is, we're making a concept record about it. So that will come out, along with the movie. So I got so deep into the character and so deep into the story that we began to write a lot of music. So we've constructed a concept album called Famous for Killing Each Other. So,
oh, wow.
Hopefully people will, be able to find that and enjoy it.
Wow, and now when will that be? That's coming out as simultaneously?
Yeah, it'll come out hopefully a week or two before it comes out on Memorial Weekend, the miniseries. And so as quick as we can put this together, we've been on a pretty fast horse trying to put it together, but it just, I just got very deep into the music.
You've done a lot of Western-themed stuff over your career. Where does your fascination with that stem from?
I can't speak to where it comes from. I guess when I watch it and I think it's done well, I immediately am challenged in my own mind to how I would have done back then. That was a difficult life, that you had to be very resourceful, that the rules were very, very different. There was no one there. There weren't lawyers there to arbitrate your problems, or judges or PR people or agents. You really had to live by your wits as you tried to, create your own dream. And the idea of people who didn't have anything in Europe came here, could actually create their own life, was something, there's something, really interesting about that to me. The residual effect is that other people, were victimized by, the absolute taking over of this country too.
Of course, no civilization can move in, it doesn't seem, historically, without another one being moved out of the way.
No, I mean, when you look at these borders, that designate, where my country starts and yours starts, they're all formed in blood, every one of them. So, our fingerprints are everywhere.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know I've read interviews of yours where you're talking about basically coming in and, not to belabor a point, we came in and committed a series of atrocities to establish this country.
Well, there was, it's really, it's no mystery. There's no, I'm not ashamed. I'm ashamed if we don't know the truth. I'm embarrassed if we don't talk about the reality of what happened. But, I think clearly that's what happened. There was about 500 nations that enjoyed different languages, religions that really, for the most part have disappeared, have been, just pushed away. And we conveniently are able to look at other countries and wonder, why things are going on, and yet we have a level of amnesia when it comes to what our participation was here in our own country.
As I often say, when they did that in Kosovo, we called it ethnic cleansing, but when we did it, we called it manifest destiny.
Yeah, it really is, and you never get into trouble if you put the right title on what it is you're doing. I mean, if you steal something, you steal it. If you turn around and say, well, I was hungry. Well, okay, you were hungry, but let's put the correct title on it. You stole.
Right.
So when people, you can see that people sometimes put a different title on something to make it just come out a little bit easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
Are we the insurgents or is somebody else the insurgents? I don't quite get insurgents.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm still playing around with that word. I still don't quite get it.
Yeah, it depends on what you're insurging against, I suppose.
Yeah, and look, like I say, I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. I'm just embarrassed when we don't feel the need to talk about it and understand the history. That's what I think is the big crime, if you ask me at this point.
Let's talk a little bit about, I know your third album, From Where I Stand, is going to be coming out in the U.S. this summer. Is there an actual release date for that?
I don't know that From Where I Stand is going to come out. If I had my druthers, I would rather take the first three records, including From Where I Stand, and put the 3 or 4 songs from each one and create another album out of that.
Okay.
That's what I would rather do. But I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have a big machine behind me or a grand plan about what it is. I mean, my whole idea about music was just to go play live.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I do know we're going to release is this. I'm doing a concept record about the Hatfields and McCoys.
Wow. How did you go into the writing process for a thing like that? Did you develop a story first as far as the angle you wanted to take with it, or did you let the songs grow organically?
Almost like everything in my life. I didn't know it was going to happen. I was preparing for it. We were touring in Europe, and I was going to go right from there to Romania, where we actually shot the Hatfield and McCoys. And so every night I would read to the band, and I would be doing my character, and I'd be doing stuff. And pretty soon, we just started getting immersed in that music and the Appalachian sound. And, we wrote one song, and then we wrote another, and that was just kind of fun. But then people began to hear it. And so some of the music is going to be used in the actual body of the piece. The composer likes a lot of our music. And they asked us to do all the music for the behind the scenes and the documentary. So we just kept writing, and we call the record Famous for Killing Each Other. So, that one is so I've really, put a lot of time into that. So it'll be a combination of orchestrations and also traditional lyrical songs.
Oh, very good. Will any of those songs be finding their way into your set as you're doing this tour this summer?
I think I'll probably play 1 or 2, maybe 3. We've got a song that's that we'll play that's being played for the Gold Star Mothers and Wives here on the 14th of April. It's dedicated. We lost about 30 soldiers, 20 SEALs, and pilots about 5 months ago, and this song has been adopted by that organization as that gives a level of kind of I don't know what the right word would be, a measure of peace to the mothers who've lost sons. And so we'll probably play that song. I think there's 2 or 3 that might come off the Hatfield and McCoys. I just kind of try to read the room of what seems like it might want to play. And one of the songs that I really like a lot, I actually can't even do it live because I do it absolutely in character, kind of as an old man that's very bitter, that is kind of looking back on his life in a very unremorseful way, knowing that he did what he thought he had to do. And so I like that song. It's really cool, but I just don't think it's something I can do live because I kind of have to almost curl up in a ball to do it. So it's kind of a weird one. What I might do is I might just we played 3 or 4 songs before we actually go on stage. Maybe I'll just play it there and let it just sneak into the ambience of the evening.
Well, going back to the beginning of your band, that might seem to an outsider to be an unusual decision for you to make. Like, well, I've had this huge acting career. I think I'll hit the road with the band.
I didn't know I was going to hit. I get where you're going. I didn't know I was going to hit the road with the band. I mean, the truth was there was no grand plan. There was no end game except to play music wherever I happened to be, maybe making a movie or wherever I was at for a length of time. If I was at a golf tournament, if I was at somewhere, I felt inclined to perform like that. I had no need to make a record. I had no need to tour.
Mm-hmm.
There was no real need other than I felt like I wanted to perform in a room rather than just shake hands and take pictures and do autographs and whatever. I like to be a part of the room, but I don't want to be some kind of weird prop.
Right.
And I've always liked playing music, and I thought, that's where I would rather, when I'd look in the room, I'd go, that's where I would want to be. I wouldn't have any of my conversations stop short. I wouldn't have to do this. I wouldn't have to do that. So what started off as just wanting to play live original music evolved. So there was no kind of seismic shift of like, look, it's time for me to make a change. I'm done making movies, or movies don't do it for me anymore. There was nothing conscious like that. It was just, I'm just going to play wherever I'm at. I had no idea that, that it would turn into what it turned into.
Now, acting and music, are they different talents from your perspective, or are they different aspects of the same talent?
I think they're different aspects. They just have to, they're both hard. I mean, I write so many songs that aren't any good. And every time I write a song, I actually think it's my best song. And then I kind of look back at it and go, it's not so good. It wouldn't even find its way onto the record, let alone into the set. So, you kind of like to create, and you kind of like to create with your friends. And, I feel lucky, the guys I make music with. I feel lucky a lot of the directions my life has been able to go, creatively with the movies. So I got a pretty clear view of how fortunate my life has been.
Not everybody in your position feels that way, which is, I always find astonishing, but there's a lot of dissatisfied famous people, which a lot of people might not recognize, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess you got to ask them, what are they dissatisfied with? Am I still hungry for things? Yeah, but I mean, if you ask somebody, what are they dissatisfied with? I mean, if they don't have enough money, they don't have enough fame. What's their malfunction?
Yeah. You work in the band with some people that you've known for longer than you've been famous as an actor. Is that correct?
That's right.
How important is that to you in terms of? Does that allow you to be more yourself? I know sometimes when people are meeting a famous person for the first time, it flips them out to such a degree that they don't treat them like a real person.
I think some people get off balance. Fame is a kind of tilts the room sometimes. I find it's my job to break that ice really quickly and say, come on, let's get back with it. By the way, these dishes ain't gonna wash themselves. So if somebody comes into my kitchen, I remember meeting Teddy and Park for the first time. They came down. I was making The Guardian, and I happened to be making breakfast when they came in because they flew in, and it was like, look, the servants went home. And you know what? The next thing you know, that was really all it took. It's really easy to try to create a pecking order if you want, if that's important to you. But I find that sometimes that really gets in the way. I think, in our band, it's very clear that I break all the ties. I think that's really clear. But it doesn't have to be spoken, it doesn't have to be said, and it's also something that's clearly understood. And you know what? It was something we talked about at the very beginning. So if someone doesn't really want to live with that, then that's fair. But what's more fair is to kind of lay out the ground rules early. That's what's more fair.
Did you understand before, you said you didn't have any idea that it was going to come down to touring. When it did come down to touring, was that an adjustment in terms of, that's a lot of hard work?
Yeah, I still struggle with that because I don't want to be gone longer than 15 to 20 days, period. I just don't need to do that. I'm not going to find myself in radio stations, trying to, isolate a song and push it. So, there's some things that don't lend itself to us being, let's say, really successful because I can't do some of those things, and nor do I want to do them. I love making music for Hatfields and McCoys. I like the fact that we're going to go tour the East Coast. I like that we're going to play in Europe. I like that we play where we play. Those things are really satisfying to me. The things that typically measure you as a success, how many records do you sell or blah, blah, blah. All that kind of stuff is not really something that I'm able to try to support. So I'm more interested in how the people feel the night I play. You know, would we like some wild success? Something to a record suddenly just zooms. However, if it does, if a record takes off for us, it's going to be really happen organically.
Right.
It can't happen as a master plan for me because my life has got just too many other things that I'm doing. So I don't shortchange my audience. I'm not shortchanging what we try to do, but I'm not here to try to drive us into. I'm not trying to be on television,
Right.
And if we play on TV, when finally the time comes, it'll be very organic. I've been asked to play for the last 3-4 years, and all I would consider that at this point would be a curiosity. But if we play, it'll be because it's in support of something I really want to do. I don't need any more fame. I've had enough for a lifetime.
What comes next for you after that? I mean, do you have any sort of I guess you don't have any sort of a long-term plan for the band. Is that fair to say?
I like playing in the States. Number one, I don't have to playing our songs so much. Because our songs, come from, I really don't separate my music from my movie career, to be honest, because a lot of the songs are written on the movies that I was making at the time. And so, for American audiences, they really will understand lyrically our songs, What's my long-term plan? I really don't know, man. I'm excited about going to Fort Knox and letting the Angels play for the Gold Star Mothers. That I consider that as big an honor as I've had some significant ones in my life, and I wouldn't put any of them over the top of standing on a stage with a woman and a child who's lost their father in battle. And if this song brings a measure of comfort, I just couldn't hope for more than that, to be honest.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about your upcoming tour, the Hatfields and McCoys? Anything else that you've got going? I don't
think so. It seemed like I should be a better thought out person. I don't. I think. We are genuinely excited to play because that's what I like to do is play live. That's what I really like to do.
Very good. Very good. Well, I appreciate you doing this today.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care. Goodbye.